In just a few hours, Congress will certify President-elect Donald Trump's election win. Vice President Harris will preside over the joint session to tally all electoral votes. And security will be tight as today marks 4 years since Trump supporters attacked the Capitol to try to prevent the certification of Joe Biden's victory in the 2020 election. In an op-ed published last night by the Washington Post, President Biden said, quote, "We should commit to remembering January 6, 2021 every year, to remember it as a day when our democracy was put to the test and prevailed, to remember that democracy, even in America, is never guaranteed." Our Naomi Ruchim has more.
On the eve of January 6th, President Joe Biden spoke to new Democratic members of Congress in Washington.
It's a day that most of our history we took for granted, the 6th. But I hope we never take it for granted again.
This day in 2021 would become monumental to American history when a violent mob of Trump supporters stormed the Capitol as President-elect Donald Trump tried to get then Vice President Mike Pence to stop the election certification. Later today, senators and members of the House will meet in a joint session to tally the electoral votes from all 50 states and the District of Columbia. In what will be a glaring image on Capitol Hill in the Senate chambers, Vice President Kamala Harris will preside over the certification just months after losing the election to Donald Trump. This as over the weekend at Mar-a-Lago, the president-elect spoke at a screening of a new documentary questioning the legitimacy of the 2020 election while hosting Italy's prime minister.
To be still trying to fight a fight that he knows he lost is really sad.
Democrats have said there will be no attempt made to challenge the results. Still, given the history of January 6th, security will be tight and thousands of additional police officers will be on hand. Naomi Ruchim, CBS News.
Let's bring in CBS News political reporter Olivia Rinaldi for more from West Palm Beach, Florida. Olivia, good to see you. Talk us through how today will be different from the process in 2021.
Yeah, good morning to you, Nikki. Today is going to look remarkably different than it had looked just 4 years ago when we saw that violent mob storm the Capitol that resulted in the death of one protester and at least 4 Capitol police officers in the wake of that attack. There's no formal attempt by Democrats today to stymie or pause the certification of votes that would essentially foment Trump's win in the 2024 election. And part of the reason why that is happening is because Congress enacted some changes in their last session that would change the threshold necessary to really challenge the results of the election. So now they have raised what is the requirement to challenge that result from just one person challenging the slate of electors from each state to now 1/5 of each chamber of the House and the Senate. So really taking some of their power away ultimately and making it more of a collective, resounding group that needs to come out and challenge the results of an election rather than just one, in an effort to really prevent what happened 4 years ago today from happening, or happened 4 years ago today from happening again. So very notable there. There's also really no plans for violence that we've seen. D.C. police say that they are prepared for today. We have seen the Capitol fencing go back up again. There are more National Guards stationed around the Capitol today, something that was not in place 4 years ago. So by and large, it seems like it's going to be a relatively quiet certification process with no violence involved. And Nikki, it seems like the only thing that could potentially halt or stymie the certification of results in Washington today is that massive snowstorm that is still hitting Washington. And as we know, several members of Congress who were told to stay for that certification actually left D.C. and will be having to make their way back. So interesting today. We'll be following it all to see if there are any hiccups in that certification process.
Yeah, a lot of snow in D.C. Let's hope for a peaceful day today. Olivia Rinaldi, thank you.